So driving is important because it's a psychological shot. It's like if you get off the first tee and you get off the tee, you say, I got this, and it makes the whole lot easier. When you hit a bad drive, then it makes you behind the 8 ball, and then everybody's trying too hard to make up. You should get warmed up before you hit your driver, because when you make a big swing like that, you got to make sure that you're loosened up and you don't want to hurt your back. So let's talk a little bit about driving. The driver's the longest club in the bag, and it's got the least amount of loft on the face. So with that, the angle of the club becomes, this is called a flatter angle, and this is called a more upright angle. It's in a flatter angle, so it makes you stand further from the golf ball. Now when you're hitting the driver, one of the most important things is to be relaxed. You know, psychologically, when you got the driver in your hand, it's easy to tighten up because you're trying to hit it farther, because you know it's your longest shot. But when you want to hit it better, you should always hold the club a lot lighter and looser and make sure that the club does the work. Now, in Billy's case, he plays the ball pretty much off of his left instep. So he's got the ball pretty much even with his left heel, okay? And if you look at Billy's posture, his head's ducked down too far and his neck and his shoulders are way too tight. Right? He was like the turtle in the shell, wasn't he? Right? That's why he hit that hook over there. He's not loose. Now this you can hit way over all the houses. Okay. So when you take the club back with your driver, you want to make sure that you sweep the club along the ground.
When you hit a driver, you want to make contact when the club is starting to come up. After it reaches its low point, it'll start coming up, and that's when you want to catch the ball. Okay, when the ball's on the ground, you don't want to do that. Then you'll top it. Okay?
That's a good point. Get your head out of your shoulders, relax. There you go. Oh, there's a slice. So that's a slice. You don't want that to happen. And that's because you swing across the golf ball. If I drew an imaginary line from the ball to the back of Billy's neck to infinity, don't swing. This is critical for you guys to learn how to hit a driver. The angle would be like this, right? If I drew a line from the back of the ball through his shoulder, the angle would be like that, correct? That's a piece of pie going to infinity. Okay, so when you take the club back, the shaft of the club should be in that angle. That's kind of between over your right shoulder and your back of your right ear. If you're here, you can bring the club back down to where it started, to parallel to the ground. And then when Celeste's question is, what happens to the right arm? Well, if you look at the club face, it's really open. So in order to hit the ball straight, you have to rotate it back to square. You see that? So your right arm is rotating and straightening. Go ahead. So it's rotating and straightening, and then when it gets past the ball, it's still rotating. When you have the driver and it's a longest club, take your grip, you're trying to create the biggest circle you can make. So if Billy has a big circle, he goes back way over here, and the point where you're extended as far as you can, put your club on the grip. The club comes up with your wrists, and that's called the hinge. And what that does is that's 50% of the club speed.
The wrist hinges the elbow.
Yes.
If you hinge the elbow first, you'll look like that.
That's a good question. Okay, put your club down. Go back halfway and stop. Okay. Now from here, if you take the club up, you're going to hit it to the right. If you take the club up, your arms are going to go out and across, and you're going to hit the ball to the right. Go back and stop. But if you hinge it to the right angle, you can then bring the club back down to where it started to rotate. And that's how you compress the golf ball.